At Greentree, we build business applications for all sizes and shapes of businesses, from distribution, non-profit, service industry. So this covers debtors, creditors, inventory, payroll, HR, CRM, manufacturing, so a full suite, fully integrated. And that's been something we've been doing for quite a few years. We've got customers predominantly through Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, a small toehold here in the US, and it's an area that we're growing in the UK market. We sort of launched there a while back, and we're growing that market. We knew that we had to take our software, which is Windows-based and has been for a good 15 years now, very stable platform. Have one client, don't have to worry about testing across multiple platforms. But we knew we had to take that into a new world. So we looked at the market and chose HTML5 as our platform. We didn't go early on that. We'd been looking at it for a couple of years, and we didn't believe HTML5 was really stable and provided the support, the access to various functions that we needed. So when we felt it was right, we went and decided to go ahead. We researched tools to allow us to make that life easier, because we had a huge development effort to do in our own right, and building a new platform for our existing logic and data models and the whole IP investment we had. But we didn't want to have to start from the ground up on the client side. So we went to market to look at a solution that was HTML5 based with JavaScript, and that provided a rich library of functions. And there weren't too many available. And this was back in 2011 we started looking, so it's quite a while ago. And Ext JS has come a long way since then, as has the Sencha company. So at that stage, it was the best option for us in terms of providing a tool set. It had the touch framework and the Ext JS framework, and that would allow us to take existing rich componentry and make that unique to our user experience and user interface design, but without having to do the groundwork and create a whole pile of new wheels effectively, because that's not what we're in the business of. Customers pay for solutions. They want functionality that helps run their business. At the end of the day, the least time we can spend on building the widgets and delivering functionality to them, the better. Well, a couple of things are important to us, well, more than a couple really. I mean, as I mentioned before, a rich library of components to allow us to get a head start and to deliver a very rich internet application, because an ERP system or a business application like ours is a very rich interface. It's a lot of information, a lot of data entry, a lot of options to present on a form. So we needed something that delivered a lot of that. So grids, trees, all sorts of structures that we didn't have to invent. So Ext JS provided us with that. But it also came with a commercial company behind it in terms of building commercial applications. So it wasn't an open source solution. It was something that we could rely on the software vendor to provide ongoing investment to that product, as well as a wide community that we could leverage in terms of documentation, but also community pressure to deliver the direction that that product needs to go in the technology space that we're in. And as we've seen over the last few years, there's been a high convergence of touch and desktop and tablet. So Ext JS and the touch framework embedded within that with some of the packages that have been delivered provides us that direction with a code base that means we can use what Sencha's provided without having to start from ground zero. We can focus on using those, delivering the functionality that our customers need, and that's effectively what they want at the end of the day. They don't pay for our architecture, they pay for solutions. To design our user interface for the Greentree application, we realised that there was a convergence in the marketplace of tablets, desktops, and people want a familiar experience across all of those platforms. So we chose to build a single user experience and user interface that pervaded both the tablet and the desktop, and that came with its challenges, but at the end of the day it means the customers have the same experience regardless of whether they're on a tablet or on a desktop or a notebook. So with Ext JS's blending of the touch capability with Ext JS 5, that collapsed the amount of work we would have had to have put into delivering touch capability within that single user experience. So that saved us nearly 2 years of development, which was absolutely brilliant, and allowed us to get to market on Ext JS 5 earlier than we expected to with touch capability. The Sencha framework delivers a lot of the power that we need. Being an ERP application, you're dealing with a lot of data. So things like buffered grids are a bonus in terms of We can present the information that's required and manage the performance across the internet effectively using that capability. Trees. See, a lot of that good stuff that Sencha does is always improving. It's, you know, targeting better performance. So we get that as a bonus. We can focus on making sure our app's performant. So long as the underlying framework is doing the same, then that saves us doing a lot of investment in R&D. Performance is a key important factor for our application because customers will be anywhere in the field. They may not have access to high-speed internet. They could be using mobile networks. So performance is really important. So we've done a lot of work in investing in our back-end performance in terms of architecture, but it's essential that the client architecture in terms of the Sencha frameworks are performant as well. So we make high use of buffered data stores, buffered grids, and all the buffered rendering capabilities of Sencha to make sure that the customers are getting a really snappy experience on the client side. So that's worked well for us.